March 2020. Picked up old mate Gus here. I was out in the shed. I think I was putting mud flaps on the back of it or something. And I remember we were just about to go into lockdown. That first initial lockdown when COVID came in and ripped everything to shreds. And then in the following months after that, it went to Kyle's house, went to a couple of other places, had some things done. We did some lights and some 12-volt stuff, and I freshened up the drawers in the back. Basically spent that few months there, 2 or 3 months, whatever it was, just getting it ready to hit the road. Now I think it was about this time now, June, July, that I had the thing ready to go, and we'd just come out of lockdown and it was ready to go, hit the road. So in that year or so that I've had it, there's been a few things that I've changed, I've tweaked. Nothing major. As a whole, the car is fantastic. I wouldn't change anything majorly with it. But there's just been some things that I've tweaked, or I've swapped out with something else. I've added a couple of things. So that's where this video comes in. I'm just going to run through what I've changed, what I've done, how it's ran, how it's gone over this last 12-month period since last year. This time last year when I first got it out and started camping in the back of it. So in my intro I've said I've changed a few things. I have added some things, but I also have changed some things. And one of the first things that I did was I got rid of the old King's lights that I had on the front here, and I've replaced them with these Terralooms. These are the Terraloom Icon, and they're an 8.5-inch unit, 1300 metre distance. They're a 1 lux, which I don't really know what that means, but they're bloody bright, so I'll go with that. These are a fantastic light. I'm so stoked with these. They're nice, tough, rugged, ready to go. No nonsense with them. I'm wrapped. They're so much better than that King's crap I had on there that was all just a big blurry beam of light that was just obnoxious and it hurt your eyes. And these are beautiful. These are a fantastic light. I'm absolutely stoked with them. So another thing that I already had was an awning, but I've changed it out. I've swapped it out. You may have seen that I did a review on this ARB awning. I'll pop that up here. I think it'll be this side. I think it'll be there. I went into the reason a little bit of why I got rid of the King's awning, and basically when you're using something so much, if it's just a little bit of the cheaper end product, little things can start to get on your nerves, and that's how I was feeling with the King's awning. Things like the Velcro, the zip on the bag, the poles. When you tighten the poles up, they were starting to sort of just keep spinning and not tighten up. When you're using things like that a lot, it starts to get on your nerves. I couldn't quite figure out if I was going to go down the line of a 270 awning or stick with the traditional awning where, you know, it pulls off the side of the car kind of thing. As you can tell, I've ended up going with a traditional pull off the side of the car style awning. The reason I did that was I felt that unless you sort of W money and get all the sidewalls for a 270 awning, I feel really exposed on them. I feel like that when you're under them, you're just extremely exposed by this sort of big high awning that doesn't really seem to protect you. And I'll explain that a little bit. With the side awning, or with the pull-out awning, I can put a side awning on each side, or I can put one in the front. I can tuck my swag in. You'll see in my videos, I tuck my swag in nicely under a side awning, and I can really bury myself in. Even when Kelly and I are out together, we can both bury ourselves in under the awning. We can drop a side down so the water can run off, and it tucks us down in very nice and cozy. Getting a 270 awning for me, I felt like I was going to be reinventing the wheel. And I was going to be spending almost double my money just to get all the sidewalls so I could feel I was going to be just as protected as I was with a traditional pull-out awning. That was an expense that I wasn't prepared to pay. Alas, I've gone with, as you can see, an ARB, a nicer, more refined, bit more expensive awning. I pull it out, put my side awnings on, I'm nice and tucked in, I can lower it down, and we're very protected in there from the wind and the rain, and that's something that has worked for me for as long as I've been camping out of four-wheel drives, and I just didn't see the need in reinventing the wheel, so to speak, and changing it. Another addition you'll see here is that I've put an awning on the back. This is a fantastic idea. This has changed things heaps. I really like having an awning on the back. Another reason that I was looking at a 270 awning was obviously because I could have one that would come around and cover the back, so to speak. Alas, as I've just explained, I haven't gone with a 270 awning, so I still wanted something that was going to cover this back area when I wanted to, rain or whatnot. I wanted to get something out the fridge, or we're doing something out the back, making a coffee or whatever it might be. So I'll put the same awning but a smaller version on the back, and it works a treat. This has changed everything. It's fantastic. When we're camped up, I'll pull them both out at the same time, peg them both down, and the doors in all sorts of weather, these doors can stay open now, and I can just walk out freely, walk back around the other side of the car. Not a drama in the world. Everything stays nice and dry. It has been a fantastic and cheap addition to add to being protected when you're camping around your car. One thing that I've changed was the bin bag. I had the big crash pad bin bag on the back of this. I love that bag. The thing was a monster. But unfortunately it was just a little bit too much of a monster, because it used to hang so low that it covered the brake light, the right hand brake light, tail light, indicator. Couldn't see a thing out of it. It was completely covered by that bag. So that wasn't an option. I couldn't have that. It had to go. And what I have gone with is this PM canvas bin bag. They're not custom made, but they are made to order. They're made here in Western Australia. Nathan there, he makes these beautiful bags. You've probably likely seen a lot of these bags on the back of four-wheel drives around the place. You've got a wheel cover, and then separately you've got this bin bag. Mate, they're tough as nails. They're second to none. I'm really glad that I went with this product, especially being WA made. And one very cool thing about them too is they come with these pockets. These pockets are, that's fantastic to have a bit of extra storage like that. It's on this side as well. You can't see this side obviously, but on both sides. I think in one of them I've got, this one I've got straps. I've got, like ratchet straps and stuff like that for tying the swag on the roof, etc, etc. And this one, I think I've got all my D-shackles, all my heavy D-shackles. I got them out of the drawer and I'm just hanging them off here. It's freed up a bit of room in my drawer. Fantastic products. One thing that I've added is this fold down table. This thing is amazing. Look at that. Beautiful. Nice marine grade stainless steel. Got a nice stainless steel splashback there. It's a really, really nice, well made bit of kit, this thing. I got it from a mob called Patrol Australia. Custom 4x4 accessories. You can find them also at patrolaustralia.com.au. They are on Instagram, Patrol Australia Instagram. And yeah, as I've said, it's a top-notch piece of kit, man. This thing is solid as a rock. This is as good as it gets. For anyone that's got a table, you know how handy it is to have a table on your barn door when it comes, or a table in general, but especially on these with the barn doors. It's such a good place to put them. It's such a good bit of space you can utilise. We can make coffee. As you've seen in my videos, you see us making coffee here or doing food prep, anything like that. And they make a really good bit of landscape for a whole pile of your favourite stickers. See, you can't help but notice these. You can't not notice them. I have put these big massive mirrors on. These are not a clear view. I have to say, they are not a clear view. They are some eBay brand. I got a bit desperate and I just went out and bought them. Yes, they're actually towing mirrors, I know. But with these big wagons and everything loaded up in the back, I haven't got a reverse camera or anything on this. And especially on that side with the bin bag on the side, that's coming out past the body just a little bit, so it makes it even harder to see around past that. So the smaller little factory mirrors were not cutting it one bit. It was horrific. So I've gone and put these on. It's good because you've got this is like the blind spot mirror, and then you've got your nice big one up here, and they've helped out a lot. Obviously I'm not towing, I know I'm not towing, but to be able to get just that little bit more width from the body and to be able to see around, it's been worth its weight in gold. It's helped a lot. So they have been a very good addition to the car. Howdy. What's going on up here? Well, you can see it. I put a solar panel up. This was an addition I made maybe, I don't know, 8 or so months ago. I got it second hand off me mate Jordan. Thanks mate, appreciate it. 50 bucks, 110 watt panel. I don't know where it's from, he said super cheap or something like that. Ridge Rider, wouldn't have a clue. But it works, it's awesome, works a treat. It has been an amazing little addition to just keeping that AGM battery I've got in there topped up pretty much all the time. I have no idea what it's putting in. I don't know what watts or what power, whatever it's putting in. I haven't got a gauge. I haven't got any way of seeing how many watts is actually getting drawn in, so I can't tell you any of the stats on that. I'm sorry. One day I probably will sort that out. I know I probably should sort that out. I know you can get the little transmitter and the app, and someday I'll sort it. But what I can say is my volt gauge on the dash, it's always reading around 13.1, 13.4, 13.8, 13.9, which I know is good. And then when we're camped up and I'm parked for a day or two, even more, I never see my AGM go down below 12.7, 12.8. So that's great for me. That's charging camera gear, fridge is going, lights on and off with the, under the awning, camp lights and whatnot. So I'm wrapped, I'm stoked. It works an absolute treat. I'd said that there wasn't really anything major that I had changed. I guess that wasn't really entirely true. One thing that I have changed out was the wheels. You would have seen that I've had an alloy wheel on this. I had the Pro Comp. They were a 16 inch rim, they were 10 inches wide, and they were pushing, I think they were about 30 odd negative offset. So they were a big wheel, man. They were huge. They weren't necessarily heavy because they were alloy, but my biggest issue with them was that they were just so wide. The wheel I've gone with is a 16x8, and they're a negative 22. They're a dynamic wheel. I think these are called the Soft 8, and I'm not going to lie, I've had a bit of an issue with them. Coming from the alloy wheels drove on the dime. They drove so damn well. No wobbles, no shimming, not an issue, nothing whatsoever. The second I put these on, I have had constant wobbling and shimming issues that still haven't gone away. These wheels have actually all been balanced 4 times now. I had them on, they were balanced, no good, balanced again, no good, balanced again, and after that, balanced again. They still shim and wobble around 80 k's. I can only put it down to the extra weight. That's all I can think, is just the big 315s being a big heavy tyre, and then the extra weight now of a steel rim rather than an alloy. That's all I can put it down to, because the hubs were leaking. So we've even run rebuild kit through the diff. All those preloads, the bearings, everything's all nice and fresh. Those bearing preloads now are exactly how they should be. And we've still got a shim, still got a wobble, just can't get rid of it. So I'm quite disappointed with my choice. I hated the width of those wheels, I hated the 10 inch and that big negative offset. I thought I was doing the right thing, but in a way it sort of backfired on me, and I'm putting up with another issue now. And if I could choose one or the other, if I could choose a nice straight drive over that extra 20mm maybe that was poking out, I'll take the 20mm any day. Alloys are becoming a lot more popular now. These have always been a nice old bush-proof wheel, the old Steelies, and they are, but I don't know, maybe they're just not making them like they used to. I don't know. But yeah, I've been severely disappointed. a brand new rim and they just won't balance. It's very disappointing. Well, now look, I've left the very best to last in my opinion. Look at these. This is one of the things that I did add, and these are fully custom made rock sliders and scrub bars. Made here in WA, obviously, custom made here in WA by a guy called Ooroo Industries. He's in Bibra Lake there, and he had the car for about a week and a half. His name's Ash. Fantastic fella, fantastic work, all made to spec for the particular vehicle they're going on. And mate, they are just so cool. They are so sick. I'm really glad I put these on because it just finished the car right off. So I did do a bit of a mischief on them though. First trip I was out with Alex. You've probably seen those videos. I was out with Alex from Intense. And I didn't put it in the video, but what I'd actually done was I'd flicked up quite a big stick or a log or whatever it was on the track, and it punctured up through the plate, the top here, stainless steel plate. Well, this sucks. Put a bit of timber up through my brand new checker plate, didn't I? It's beyond. Oh well, it's what they're there for, I suppose. They were only like a week or two old, so I was pretty gutted. I had to persist through the rest of the trip with them like that, and then I fixed it up once I got home. So yeah, that was a bit of a shame. I've temporarily fixed it with a couple of zip ties. There's nothing zip ties can't fix, mate. So I've wrapped a couple of zip ties there just to hold the plate back down to the slider. But it just goes to show if these sliders weren't there, these side steps, that would have likely have come up quite easily, punctured the sill, gone through the door, something like that. So it paid for itself just in that one trip, that one bit of damage. Cheers. Alright, well I thought I'd get into the question part of this now. I'm not going to read them in any particular order, I'm just going to go through them. A few of you have asked a few questions, 2 or 3. So, question number 1. You reckon _RC. These are all from Instagram too, by the way. How many Ks the big girl had when purchased her, as to how many she has now? 306,000 when I bought it, and it's now about 323 odd thousand. So in that first few months that when I picked it up, I didn't really drive it. I drove it home. This was from Coburn. I bought it in Coburn area. I drove it home to Mandurah. It sat there for about a week or two. Lockdown just happened, couldn't drive it. And then when I could, I drove it straight to Kyle's, and then it was at Kyle's for about 2 months. Got it back from Kyle's, still hadn't really driven it, and then it spent maybe another month or so at home for me finishing some stuff off. So it didn't really move off that 306 odd thousand for good 3 months really. This one's Nick the Best 3. What do you like about Gus and dislike about Gus? That's actually a really good question. You'll see me carrying on a lot about, I love this truck and all the things I like about it, being a wagon and having solid axles, coil suspension, TD42, factory turbo. They're all the things that I do absolutely love about this car, and it's why I bought this and a Patrol in the first place. Things that I don't really like about it, sometimes how it sits on the highway. That would be my only biggest criticism of it, is just sometimes it is very agricultural still, and it can just be kind of a bit slow and laborious on the highway. This doesn't have cruise control, so you're driving it. If you're heading south or heading north for a good 5-6 hour drive, you are driving the thing the whole time, and that can be a bit laborious. There's no button to push or no tuning off absolutely whatsoever. So that's my only issue with it though. That would be the only thing that, and I'd have to be real picky as well, because I'm the kind of person that does like to drive a car. I'm a driving enthusiast, you know. I want a full, and that's why I'm in one. I want a full drive that needs driving. I don't want to be a passenger. So that's me being quite fussy and really having to think about something to pick on. It's a bit chist. Sorry man, I've made a mess of that. I'm sorry, I apologise. How do you find the clear views / big mirrors? Yeah, good, great. I touched on that already, as you would have seen. Mate, they've changed everything. At some point I might get a reverse camera, but even still without the reverse camera, you know, like you can see enough of what's behind you to sort of, you know, guess, you know, where you need to stop or whatever, if that sort of makes sense. And the blind spot mirror in it as well. It's perfect. It's not always easy to see your blind spots through all of this stuff. MM27092. How many K's on the big girl? Yeah, so I'd said that. It's about 323,000 now. This is no thanks, mate. Hey Luke, how you going? How are the Terralume lights performing? Dude, they're amazing. I absolutely love them. I mentioned that I've changed to the Terralumes, but I didn't really get too much into how they are. They are so good. The quality of light that comes out of them, some lights are so bright, they can be too bright and they strain your eyes. You know, like it's too much for your eyes to be able to handle. If you're driving real long distance and you're putting up with that for X amount of time, it's too much and it can strain your eyes and it fatigues you. It's not good. It's not healthy at all. These are the kind of lights that they'll hit like a big sign on the road and they're still bright, but it's not like unrefined light that's just a big beam, you know what I mean, like you get from your cheaper lights. These are a bit softer. Highly recommend anyone thinking about getting lights entertain that idea of spending a bit more and buying a bit more of an expensive light, because you do get a lot more out of it. There's a lot more to lights than just a whole big illumination of bright whatever. There's a lot more to consider than that. Josh Sinnott, 97. No regrets getting a wagon when there's so many canopy builds around these days. Yeah, look, it's the reason it is a wagon is why I wanted it. The reason it is a wagon is why I love patrols. Along with the other things, of course, as well, you know, like I've explained, like TD42 and solid axles, coils, things like that. It is a wagon. It is that these patrols are wagons. That's so absolutely no regret at all, because I love my wagons 100%. Ryan Tilly 351, hey man, nice to hear from you. His question is, any issues over the year? Yeah, I briefly touched on that. No issue at all. No issues whatsoever. It's only been that leaky swivel hub. That's the only issue I've had. Engine wise, gearbox wise, as I said, driveline wise, well, I suppose that is driveline, but it's not too much of a big issue and it's quite a common one. It has been faultless, man. It has run so good, and this is why these cars are the duck's nuts, because this is no nonsense. They just do their thing. It's so good. So this one's 4x4 AU. Ethan, how's it going, my friend? Could you see yourself upgrading? If so, what would it be and why? This is a hard one. This is something that I do think about a bit, funnily enough, for someone who is really happy in the car they've got. I don't know, I guess it's just human nature to always think about what else you might want. But I can't narrow it down, man. Like sometimes I get in a headspace and I'm like, oh, you know what, just get a, you know, a dual cabin. Get something that's going to fly along the highway and be nice and comfy and cruise control and upgrade, you know, treat yourself sort of thing. But then I'm just as quickly snapped out of that and go, nah, you know, like, you love this thing. You love having a driver's car, like I just said before. At some point I might get over that and think more about it practically rather than hanging on to this ideal of, you know, being in a wagon and coils and a bigger car in general. As I get older, I'll see the more practical side of it, and that'll be fine. You know, I'll be ready to make that choice when it comes. But yeah, to say what vehicle, man, I still can't narrow it down. Yeah, I'll bug it if I know. I like the D-Max, but then, you know, like the more modern wagons, you know, like the Prado. I've got quite a soft spot for the Prados, but I've also now, you know, like even the MUX, I've got a soft spot for the MUX and the Toyota Fortuner, I think it is. They're appealing to me a lot, and even the Everest. I know I'm gonna cop some shit for that, but it's true. Being a wagon guy, that, like, some of them, you can do a lot to them, and they'll just drive you wherever you want to be. You'll be comfy, and yeah, I could see myself as I get older in something like that even. So I don't know. First, I need to figure out that I actually do want a modern vehicle, and then then I'm gonna have a hell of a time trying to figure out what on earth I might want. And then there's Kelly to think about, because my God, it's not just me buying the cars, Kelly to consider as well. So yeah, I'd rather just not think about it. This one's from Ryan Tilly 351 again. Any engine mods, preventative or performance? Yeah, so performance, these are mods that weren't done by me, but performance mods have been, it's got a intercooler on it, top mount intercooler. It still has the standard factory turbo. So it's got the intercooler, it's been tuned. 160 horsepower, I think it is, 500 newton meters, 16 psi, quite mild, runs good, it's nice and economical, drives well. It's just enough to wake it up, but it's not, you know, sooting everywhere and being obnoxious or, you know, whatever. So it's a perfect setup for just your general touring, getting places. Oh, there's a big osprey flying through. Thought I could hear him. Oh, there's a big wedge-tail up there too. Ooh. Preventative, no. There's no preventative on it at all. I haven't got, it's got a catch can. I haven't got any of the pre-filters for the fuel or anything like that. Which is probably something I should start looking into. Getting that fuel filter sorted would be the first thing that I would do, just to be safe from any water I might pick up in diesel anywhere or something like that. But no. Also from Ryan Tilly 351. How's the economy? The economy, I couldn't tell you. I wouldn't have a clue. I don't actually get too. I don't geek out at all into miles or litres per 100, all that. I couldn't actually really tell you. When we went down to Peaceful Bay, I sort of kept a rough record, and because I've got a 90 litre main tank, and it's a 35, 25, 30 something litre sub tank. I think out of all that fuel, about 120 odd litres, 130 odd litres, it was about 1100 k's. And that's loaded, that's fully loaded, so that's pretty good. I haven't really sat down, and it doesn't bother me. I don't really care. I just put diesel in it when it needs it. Simple as that. It doesn't really make a difference to me. Loopy Fruit 4. Any mods you would change or do again? 35's that good. I'll tell you now, 35s are not necessary. If you're thinking, or you're in the mindset that you need 35s to go and do whatever you do, it's not true. It's a myth. It's a complete fallacy. They're nice to have. You know, you can sort of look at stuff and almost just bulldoze over it. You don't really need to pick a line too much to some degree, but by no means do you need them. They're not a necessary tyre size. I guess with these cars, they just fit so well. They just aesthetically, and they just fit. So yeah, everyone does put them on because, you know, they're a bigger car and they suit the car. However, mods that I would change or do again, Well, like I said, there's been a few things I've changed, like ripping off the cheaper awning, putting a different awning on, putting an awning on the back. I've added side steps and rails. Just little additions like that. Mods that I wouldn't do again would be putting steel wheels back on. That's been a disaster. That was a stupid idea. But I had to do it because I wasn't happy with the size of those alloys anyway, so that's neither here or there. It's just something I was going to do regardless. But now I have done it, I really regret going with steel wheels. I'd much rather some alloys now. So that would be something I would say that I would do again. The last question is actually from Kelly. Well, she sent me through. She sent me through a few, but I'll just answer the one. When will you stop spending money on gas? Yeah, look, babe. No, to be fair, I think it's probably a good one to close this video out with, because like it's at a place where I don't really need to spend any more money on it now. It's just a matter of keeping it maintained, you know, your maintenance on it. Maybe, as mentioned before, a bit of engine prevention there, filters, catch can, whatnot. But as far as mods go and things like that, I'm at a very comfortable place with it now, and it'll service me through from here on in for quite some time, I would say. So it's just a matter of looking after it from this point on. You know, there's things that I would love, like I'd love a new roof rack. I'd love to bin this big ugly old steel thing, big heavy thing. I'd love to replace the steel wheels with some alloys, but they're not things that are paramount. They're not urgent things that need doing, or an extra mod that needs to be done for the greater experience of camping, if that's how you want to word it. So it's just a matter of turning the key, and the biggest issue now is just figuring out where to go. That's all I got to worry about at this point in time. So yeah, I'm thoroughly stoked with how it's running and how it's going, and I appreciate everyone getting involved there on Instagram and throwing me through some questions. There was quite a few there, so I had to sort of skim through and pick some of the ones that were a little bit more relevant, but I appreciate that. I appreciate everyone getting involved. I appreciate everyone watching as well. If there's anything else that you do want to know that I didn't touch on or didn't talk about, make sure you put it in the comments. I'm always through the comments. You'd see I'm always replying, reading through the comments, so throw something in there that you might want to know and I'll answer it for you the best I can. Also going to put a shameless plug in for merch. I've still got some stubby holders there. I've got plenty of shirts there. AustralianOffroad.bigcartel.com is where you can go to get all that stuff. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it very much. And we'll see you on the next one, eh? Ooroo.